for our main event. And making his way to the ring here is Ljungquist, 34 years old, from Copenhagen in Denmark, 18 fights and 18 wins. As an amateur, reached the quarterfinals of the European Championships, boxed in World Series Boxing, which was such a great apprenticeship for professional boxing. And undefeated so far. And this, to be honest, is a step up that he needs, because it's been a slow burn, his professional career up until this point. He's done everything that has been required of him, but he needs to make some strides at 34. He needs to start making some waves in the division if he's really going to have an impact. He's boxed twice this year, one by majority decision over 10 in March, and then by 7th round stoppage in May.
А сейчас добро пожаловать в золотой угол ринга. Его соперник – экс-чемпион мира по версии IBF в первом тяжелом весе из Владикавказа, Россия, Murat Gassiev!
And here comes Gassiev, the former unified cruiserweight champion. Won the IBF title in Russia against Denis Lebedev. Entered the World Boxing Super Series later that year in 2017, and in the semi-final in an epic encounter with Uniel Dorticos, added the WBA. He won by 12th round stoppage. He was clear on a couple of the cards, but it was just such a good fight. And then in the final, he ran into Alexander Usyk. And unfortunately, the Ukrainian proved to be too good for him. At which point he moved up to heavyweight, and things just haven't really happened. He hasn't had the fights that he would have wanted to. And then when he got one, and he did one against Otto Wallin late last year, he lost by split decision over 10 rounds, which was a big blow. Wallin then went on and got the fight against Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia just before Christmas. And Gassiev would have watched that unfold with horror almost at the opportunity that he had missed, potentially. Needs the win tonight. Like Ljungquist, he needs to ignite his career.
Итак, дамы и господа, главное событие вечера стартует буквально через считанные минуты. А сейчас прошу приветствуйте официальный гимн Международной боксерской ассоциации IBA. Дамы и господа, представляю официальных лиц. Поединок санкционирован Советом профессионального бокса Армении. Супервайзер Хачатур Хачатрян, Армения. Судьи в рингсайде. Per Kjerulf Hansen, Дания. Болчу Габриш, Венгрия. И из Германии Йорг Милке. Хронометрист Ливон Антонян. Доктор в рингсайде Гамлет Бегаян, Армения. Рефери поединка из Дании Фредди Рафн. Итак, дамы и господа, представляю участников этого боя и первым бойца слева от меня в черном углу. Ему 34 года. Его рост 2 метра ровно. На весах он показал 106 килограммов и 450 граммов. Он представляет Копенгаген, Дания. Его рекорд безупречен. 18 боев, 18 побед, 11 из них нокаутом. Чемпион IBF International в тяжелом весе, не знающий поражений, Ljungquist. Боксеру в золотом углу ринга 31 год. Его рост 192 сантиметра, а вес 104 килограмма и 350 граммов. Он представляет Владикавказ, Северная Осетия, Алания, Россия. Его впечатляющий рекорд насчитывает 32 боя, 30 побед при всего 2 поражениях, 23 яркие победы нокаутом. Чемпион IBF Intercontinental в первом тяжелом весе. Экс-чемпион мира по версии IBF в первом тяжелом весе. Финалист всемирной боксерской суперсерии. Мастер нокаутов Murat Ирон Gassiev. Рефери Фредди Рафн и его предматчевый инструктаж.
Freddie Raffin, our referee for this one. Very experienced official. Bit of a difference in the height and the weight there between these two. Ljungquist is actually quite lean. He's very tall. 2 meters. That's about 6'7". Gassiev about 6'4". And the difference between them in weight is 6 pounds. Ljungquist in that southpaw stance. Gassiev orthodox. And as I was outlining on the ring walks, this is a big, big night for the pair of them. Whoever wins this can kick on and try and go to that next level. For the loser, it's quite a long way back. Ljungquist with the reach to go with that height. Can he use it? That's the key thing. Can he employ that southpaw jab and keep Gassiev on the end of it? Otto Wallin, of course, a southpaw. And it was Wallin who beat Gassiev last September in Antalya by that split decision over 10 rounds. And I'm sure that Ljungquist will have been paying close attention to that. They both had good notice for this. Ljungquist training at home in Copenhagen. Gassiev has been in Serpukhov, he told us, so fairly confident that will mean that he's been training down at the IBA training centre out in the forest. I've been there myself. It's an impressive setup. Just a feeling out process in round 1 so far. Nobody's landed or aimed anything particularly big so far. And as a result, not a particularly easy round to score with just a minute remaining. You look at the size difference between the pair of them there, it is pretty big. Ljungquist looks more than just that 6 pounds heavier when you see them up in the ring. He needs to try and impose that that reach on Gassiev, as I said at the start. He's got to snap that southpaw jab out. Really make him feel it if he can. Gassiev with an overhand right there, kind of boomeranged it in for him a little bit wide. And Ljungquist cannot allow him to get comfortable just creeping into that sort of range. Because he's on you, Gassiev, with that front foot. He's just taking your space. He's not throwing bundles of punches, but he's just looking to use that front foot pressure. Final few seconds of round one. That's Ljungquist. Paul Duville leading the corner. It feels like a long minute, this. I haven't got a clock on it.
Oh.
Well, we didn't have a 10-second clapper. They
Round two.
called back to their feet fairly promptly there. So start of round two. Maybe that opening round would go Gassiev's way, courtesy of that one right hand, which didn't land completely clean. But of the two, he was maybe just a little bit more proactive. And at the start of the second round, he's looking to just try and get onto that front foot again. It's got the look and the feel of a spar at the moment, this fight. It's slightly odd. It's not caught fire as yet, which is not that unusual given that it's very early in round two. But it's just the vibe of it is really quite laid back. Gassiev could change that quickly, so could Ljungquist. Looks to try and rake with a left hand, but doesn't quite land it. And sticks with a jab there, Ljungquist. Was using it really to measure that left. Put a little bit of heat on the left hand. Love to see him just pump that jab out. Goes for a long left hand there, Ljungquist. Gassiev trying to get close. Ljungquist just pushing him off with the forearms. Ljungquist does like it at that kind of mid to long range. Again, he's looking for that right hand there, Gassiev. Just trying to curl it in around the back of the guard. A left hand got through there on the inside from Gassiev. Ljungquist though just digs his own feet in and looks to try and lead off with a right hook. It's just warming up slightly this into the last minute of round two. Looking for that big overhand right there, Gassiev. Wasn't really in the right place. His feet weren't quite underneath him. Almost swung himself off off his feet, actually, as he let that one go. Well, go to the end of the second, and again, that's a pretty tight round. All sorts happening at heavyweights over the last few months. Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk meeting this week in central London for the press conference ahead of their rematch in December. Daniel Dubois with that huge win over Anthony Joshua. The likes of Zhilei Zhang and Joseph Parker waiting to see what's next for them after big wins over Deontay Wilder. Parker with the win over Zhang as well, of course. Moses Italma has got a good fight against Dempsey McKean coming up on the undercard of that Usyk Fury rematch. There's a lot going on. Fabio Wardley with that first round knockout of Fraser Clark in Saudi Arabia recently as well. So it's one of those divisions currently, and it's kind of always been this way, but at the moment, one big win, one good win, and you can jump into, not that leading pack, but you can jump into the pack. And you can get that opportunity out on Riyadh season, which is where most of these big heavyweight fights are taking place. Then it's a winner stays on kind of scenario.
Секунданты за ринг. Seconds out. Третий раунд. Round 3.
So into the third, Gassiev in the black and blue shorts. Ljungquist with his back to the ropes there on the right hand side in the solid black shorts. Gassiev just dips his knee, stoops and throws a right hand into the body. That's a good left hand there from Ljungquist. Just caught Gassiev as he was thinking about moving forward and just made him gather himself and start again. Just dips the knees, and I'd like to have seen him let the left hand go again there, Ljungquist, because he just measured it with the right, then just got that nice dip, that nice suspension, and could really have sunk that in because Gassiev was right in front of him. Ljungquist just needs to keep working those hands. Gassiev isn't slipping and rolling. He's not bobbing and weaving all that much on his way in. He's a relatively easy target to find. Ljungquist looking to try and fling that one in around the back of the guard. Doubling up on the hook there, Gassiev. Didn't really land it. Left hand into the body there from Ljungquist was pretty solid. I think Ljungquist needs to show a bit more confidence here and just meet Gassiev as he comes in, because it's only a matter of time before he starts to fancy this more and more, the Russian, and will really let his hands go as he did in that little flurry there. There's an uppercut, a lead uppercut with the right hand there from Ljungquist. That didn't look like much, but I think there was enough on it to stop Gassiev as he came forward. And when he's at this kind of range, Ljungquist could just set his feet and just let those punches flow a bit more. Just put a bit more steam on them. Left hand into the body there. There's absolutely no reason I can see not to do that. He wouldn't need to overextend. He wouldn't need to take any big, bold risks. poking with the jab there, Ljungquist. Final 10 seconds of round 3. He's trying to turn that left hand in, as I said, round the back of the guard, and it's not quite worked. The uppercut does seem to be there for him. Gassiev does roll over slightly as he comes forward, just rolls those shoulders, dips that head in. Not much in those opening 3. I'm not sure which way the judges will go with those. Just waiting really for one of these two to make a move and try and take control of this fight.
Seconds out. Четвертый раунд. Round 4.
So into the 4th. Gassiev maybe looking to start with some aggression, with some purpose. That's a good use of the jab there from Ljungquist, and then just tries to send that left hand in round the back of it. And Gassiev looking to let his own hands go, but you look at the physical difference between the two of them there. Ljungquist just getting up on his toes slightly there. I do feel like this could be there for the taking for him if he just can show a little bit more confidence and just impose himself on the fight. Gassiev with good hand speed there, finishes on the left hand, looking for that right hand over the top. That's the one he's looking for, just to try and kind of lasso that one in over the top. Ljungquist just holding his feet a little bit more here. This is better from him too. He just paused with that jab a little bit, the big tall Dane, when he could just plant it. Uses the ropes there as Gassiev looks for that left hook. He whipped an uppercut underneath there, Ljungquist. There's that hand speed. Ljungquist, though, setting his feet. Final minute of round 4, and this is just beginning to warm up. This is such a big fight for both of them in the context of their career. A win moves them forward. A defeat, and as I said previously, I think it's a long way back. Bit of blood on the bridge of the nose there, I think, of Ljungquist. There's that right hand. He's always looking for that right hand, Gassiev. And he's just beginning to take it to Ljungquist a bit more here. Gassiev, there's a little bit of wind in his sails towards the end of the round. And I think he's the one who's beginning to fancy this more now. Left hand into the body as the bell goes. Touch of gloves between the two, but the Russian there just looking a bit more aggressive towards the end of the round. And that's a combination of a couple of things. It's taking him a while to get into the fight. He's been out of the ring for over a year, but also he's being allowed to come in and take that space because Ljungquist, as I say, I don't feel is taking an opportunity here. Gassiev, in the first 2 or 3 rounds, moved in quite pedestrian fashion, to be honest. Ljungquist could have imposed himself on the fight in that fourth round. Just signs towards the end there that Gassiev is the one who is maybe beginning to do that. And there's some damage on the bridge of the nose there. I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem because the blood won't go into the eyes from there.
Пятый раунд, round 5.
So into the fifth, they're scheduled for 10. Murat Gassiev, the former unified cruiserweight world champion. He's got the red gloves on and the black and blue shorts. Kem Ljungquist 18-0. Black shorts, white gloves. Just a bit more energy about Gassiev now as he comes forward. A bit more rhythm. That's head's just moving slightly more fluidly. He's just a little bit looser than he was at the start. He has been out of the ring for a while, as I mentioned. Well over a year, and that's not ideal. It can take a while to find your timing. Good body attack there from Gassiev. That was nice. And then looks to try and fling that right hand over the top and steps in again there. Leads off with a left hook. Digs to the body. He is increasing in confidence. Ljungquist just backing off. Again, Gassiev just creeping in there. Ljungquist just allowing him to do it. That left hand to the body was a good shot. He comes back with a jab there, Ljungquist. But most of what he throws are punches where he's just looking to try and keep you off, discourage you. He's not really throwing them with bad intentions. Left hook there from Gassiev. Left to the body from Ljungquist was a decent shot, but again Gassiev replies with exactly the same punch under the jab. Climbs in to a lead left hook again and pushes Ljungquist back to the ropes. Gets good distance on those body shots, and that left to the body has hurt Ljungquist. Down he goes, rolls onto his back, and I'm not convinced he's going to make this. There's a shake of the head there. He's not going to beat the count here, Ljungquist, and Gassiev is going to take him out here and win by knockout. Left to the body. You could see the reaction straight away. And that body work had been impressive. He'd found, as I said, really good range with it. He got into distance and found that distance basically. And once he did and locked on, then Ljungquist was in trouble. There it is. You could see that he felt it immediately. Caught one on the bicep there. Then the uppercut and the left into that floating rib, I think. And you knew immediately that the chances of him getting up off the back of that were pretty slim. So that is the win that Murat Gassiev really desperately needed to get his career something like back on track. He had such high hopes when he moved up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, and everything took a very long time to happen. And then the defeat came against Wallin, and it didn't look like it was curtains exactly, but not far off it. He absolutely had to win tonight, and he's got the win against an opponent who just didn't take advantage of an opportunity that he had here. Gassiev is a fighter of great pedigree, of course, but he was lethargic. He was slow, to be honest with you, in those first 2 or 3 rounds. And if Ljungquist had stepped in and been a bit more confident and hadn't allowed him to settle into the fight, then I think he could have made things hard for him. But as it was, he got those few rounds under his belt, found his range, and once he did, that's a well-delivered body shot. Really is. And sometimes you know when a fighter goes down whether they're going to get back up or not. And the way he rolled over onto his back there and you saw the little shake of the head, you knew that that was it for the night. So his undefeated record goes. Gassiev gets that win to keep things moving forward. These two just having the gloves removed before they'll be called to the centre of the ring. And that completes the night's action. 2 stoppage wins at heavyweight. David Chiloyan stopping Timur Khan early on. And Gassiev getting the stoppage around about halfway. Just having those hand wraps cut off. And another look at the finish and the uppercut there. And the head attack maybe just lifted those gloves, lifted those forearms slightly, or made him bunch those forearms into the centre to block that uppercut, leaving the gap, which he perfectly exploited. And I think Gassiev needs to get back out again. He needs to get another big fight, ideally, but just a fight, a decent fight, as quick as he can off the back of this, because he was slow starting, and I think a lot of that would have been down to the amount of time he'd had out of the ring. He needs to try and build some momentum. It's so important in boxing careers to build that momentum, keep things rolling. Bit of time off, straight back in camp, on to the next one. Activity is absolutely key. Words of consolation there for Ljungquist.
Дамы и господа, рефери Фредди Рафн остановил поединок на отметке 2 минуты и 29 секунд 5-го раунда. Победу нокаутом одержал, and your winner by knockout, Murat Iron Gassiev!
So Gassiev with the win. He went into the fight as favourite, and despite a slow start, he began to click through the gears. At the end of the previous round, you could see that he had some wind in his sails, and then he just put his foot down in that next round and got the finish with that really crisp left hand into the body. And that completes the night's action from Yerevan, Armenia on this IBA Champions Night, the IBA Pro Series. It's itself gathering really good momentum. We've had a lot of nights over the summer, heading now into the autumn. And the winning team there just posing for some photographs. There was a win for David Chiloyan, as I mentioned, amateur standout, stepping up to pro boxing. He looked good as we expected him to.